road to Black Hollow Forest had been erased from most maps decades ago, but locals still whispered its name when the wind howled at night. It was said the forest did not simply stand there, it watched. Every tree leaned inward, as if listening. Every shadow stretched too long, and every sound arrived half a second late. As though the forest wanted you to feel unsafe before you even realized why. Daniel Mercer learned this too late. He was a travel documentarian, chasing forgotten places for his channel, convinced that fear was just a trick of the mind. When he heard about a forest where people vanished without bodies, without screams, without explanation, he saw content, not danger. Asterisk, he arrived just before sunset, the sky bleeding orange and red through thick clouds. His GPS failed 5 miles out, spinning uselessly, so he followed a narrow dirt road instead. The moment his car crossed the old wooden sign Black Hollow, "Enter at your own risk," the air changed. The temperature dropped sharply, and the forest swallowed the sound of his engine. No birds, no insects, just silence so heavy it pressed against his ears. Daniel laughed nervously and told his camera that this was perfect atmosphere. He did not notice that the laughter sounded wrong, thinner than it should have, as if something had stolen part of the echo. Asterisk, the forest floor was soft, almost breathing under his boots. Towering trees blocked the sky, their branches twisted like broken fingers. After walking for 10 minutes, Daniel realized something was off. He could still see the road behind him, but it looked farther away than it should have been. When he turned back toward the forest, the trees seemed closer. He shook his head and blamed perspective. Then he heard footsteps behind him, slow, careful, mimicking his pace. He spun around, camera raised, but there was nothing. No wind, no movement. Only the deep watching silence. Asterisk, as darkness fell, Daniel decided to set up camp near a clearing. The clearing was perfectly circular, unnaturally so, as if something massive had pressed down and crushed the trees long ago. In the center stood a single dead oak, its bark peeled away like burned skin. Carved into the trunk were names, hundreds of them, etched so deeply they looked fresh. Some were crossed out. Others were scratched beyond recognition. At the bottom, in newer carving, was a warning. "Do not answer when I calls you." Asterisk, Daniel felt a chill crawl up his spine, but he smiled for the camera. "Looks like locals had fun with this," he said. He didn't believe in curses. He believed in psychology. He believed fear came from expectation. That belief shattered the moment he heard his own voice call his name from the forest. Daniel sounded exactly like him. Same tone, same breath, same hesitation. The voice came from the darkness between the trees, soft and patient, as if it knew he would listen. Asterisk, he froze. His heart hammered. "Hello," he called, immediately regretting it. The forest responded with another voice, this one female, trembling, familiar. His mother. She had died 5 years ago. "Danny," the voice whispered. "I'm cold." Daniel dropped the camera. Logic screamed that it was impossible, but emotion drowned it out. He took one step toward the sound, then another. The clearing vanished behind him as the trees closed in, branches scraping his arms like claws. The voice grew closer, sweeter, more desperate. "Please," it begged. "Don't leave me here." Asterisk, then everything stopped. Silence slammed down so hard it made his ears ring. The darkness thickened, pressing in from all sides. Daniel realized he could no longer see the path he had taken. Panic surged. He turned in circles, flashlight beam shaking, illuminating tree after tree that looked identical. He ran. The forest did not chase him. It didn't need to. The ground shifted subtly, roots rising, paths bending. No matter how far he ran, he never left the forest. Hours passed, or minutes. Time lost meaning. His flashlight died. His phone showed no signal, only a new message appearing on the screen. Asterisk. Unknown. You should not have come. Asterisk, Daniel screamed and threw the phone. The sound was swallowed instantly. Exhausted, he collapsed against a tree and slid to the ground. That was when he noticed the figure standing just beyond the edge of his vision. Dozens of them. Human shapes barely visible, faces stretched and wrong, eyes hollow and endless. They did not move. They only watched. Slowly, one stepped forward. It wore Daniel's face, but older, gaunt, eyes blackened like burned holes. Its mouth opened, and when it spoke, the forest spoke with it. "Asterisk," you answered, it said. "Now you belong." Asterisk. Daniel tried to crawl away, but hands burst from the ground, pale and decayed, gripping his ankles. Voices rose all around him, hundreds of them whispering names, begging, laughing, crying. He understood then. Black Hollow did not kill people. It absorbed them. It learned their voices, their memories, their fears. It used them as bait. The figures were not ghosts trapped here. They were echoes, hollowed out and reused. Asterisk. When dawn came, the forest was quiet again. Daniel Mercer was gone. Search teams found his car days later, parked beside the old sign. His camera lay smashed near the clearing, footage corrupted except for one final audio clip. It was Daniel's voice, calm and empty, repeating the same sentence over and over. Asterisk. "If you hear me call your name," it said, "do not answer." Asterisk. Years later, hikers still report voices in Black Hollow Forest, voices that sound like loved ones, voices that sound like themselves. Sometimes new names appear carved into the dead oak. Sometimes they are crossed out. And sometimes, late at night, if you stand at the forest's edge and listen carefully, you can hear someone whispering your name, waiting patiently for you to reply. The warning should have been enough. But Black Hollow Forest does not rely on warnings. It relies on curiosity, grief, loneliness, the quiet weaknesses people carry without realizing it. Weeks after Daniel Mercer disappeared, rumors spread online. His channel filled with comments dissecting his final upload, theorizing about sound glitches, hidden speakers, elaborate hoaxes. Some claimed they heard whispers layered beneath the static, voices not meant for human ears. The video trended, and as always happens when fear goes viral, others wanted to see it for themselves. Asterisk. Among them was Mara Collins, a sound engineer who specialized in restoring damaged audio. She didn't believe the forest was haunted. She believed the human brain was excellent at finding patterns in noise. When a private investigator hired her to clean up Daniel's final recording, she worked through the night with headphones pressed tight against her ears. At first, she heard only static and distortion. Then, beneath it all, something else emerged. But breathing, slow, rhythmic, too close. When she isolated the track further, the breathing shifted, syncing with her own. She ripped the headphones off, heart racing, but the sound continued faintly from her laptop speakers. And then it stopped. A text appeared on her phone from an unknown number. Asterisk. "I hear you listening." Asterisk. Mara quit the project the next day. But Black Hollow does not release people so easily. That night, as she lay awake, she heard footsteps pacing her apartment hallway. When she opened her bedroom door, the hallway stretched impossibly long, walls darkened and warped like tree bark. At the far end stood a familiar silhouette, her younger sister, drowned 10 years earlier. Water dripped from her hair onto the floor, pooling but never spreading. "You found him," the figure said softly. "Now find me." Asterisk. Mara never entered Black Hollow Forest. She didn't need to. The forest had learned her voice, her guilt, her memories. It had learned how to reach her wherever she was. That was the truth people never understood. Black Hollow is not contained by trees. The trees were merely its oldest skin. Asterisk. Over the years, disappearances increased. Not always physical. Some people remained, but something inside them went missing. They spoke less, slept less, listened more. They paused mid-conversation as if hearing someone else speak. And sometimes late at night, they answered voices no one else could hear. Those people would later wander into the woods, drawn by something gentle and irresistible, leaving behind phones, shoes, and families who would never get answers. Asterisk. Authorities eventually fenced off the forest. Signs were posted. Drones sent in never returned. Thermal cameras showed impossible cold spots moving against the wind. The case files grew thick, then classified. Officially, Black Hollow became a restricted ecological zone. Unofficially, locals knew the truth. The forest was growing, not in size, but in hunger. Asterisk, on the 50th anniversary of the first recorded disappearance. A wildfire tore through the region. Flames devoured acres of land, racing toward Black Hollow. Firefighters expected the dead forest to ignite instantly. It didn't. The flames stopped at the tree line, bending away as if repelled by an unseen wall. When the smoke cleared, the forest stood untouched, dark, intact, waiting. That night, every firefighter reported the same dream, standing alone among trees. Hearing their own voice begged them to stay.